In 2013, there was a devastating fire at a First Nations art gallery in Alert Bay. All 113 pieces on display sustained damage, but all have been or are being meticulously restored by conservation staff at the Royal BC Museum.
On July 23, 2013, fire struck the Umista Cultural Centre in Alert Bay.
Luckily, nobody was hurt, nothing was lost, but a lot of pieces were badly damaged.
George Field and two other conservators gathered their tools and headed to Alert Bay.
It was kind of miraculous because the fire jumped from one spot to another but left the mask in between. And it did that in like 3 different locations.
Remarkably, no artifacts were destroyed in the fire, but all 113 pieces on display sustained damage.
The sprinkler system, which, thankfully went off, was kind of like having a fire hose on the artifacts for well over an hour. So for some of the artifacts, it had taken all the paint off. Feathers that lined the top of the head were all curled around a drain over by the floor. You had heat damage, you had steam damage, you had smoke damage.
And so the conservation team got to work.
We talked about not touching the artifacts because that layer of soot is sitting on the surface, and as soon as you touch it, you push it into the surface.
Many pieces were restored at the makeshift workshop in Alert Bay.
We took up a portable garage, and that became our workshop outside.
The 12 most damaged artifacts were transported to the Royal BC Museum.
These are the last 4 that we have here now. These are sea lion whiskers. The sunken top in here, when it's danced, is eagle down is put in there, so the dancer, as he moves his head back and forth, the eagle down floats out around in the big house. It's quite a magical thing to see.
You can learn more about restoring these pieces in a fascinating pocket gallery just off the museum's main lobby.
He's been surface cleaned and a new mount.
These spectacular pieces of our First Nation history will then be returned for display at Umista Cultural Centre.
This Week in History, brought to you by the Royal BC Museum, celebrating 130 years.